War Eagle Auburn family, welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together and we talk about what's going on in the world of the Auburn family spectrum. We're always heavy on the sports here on this channel, but if it's orange and blue, it is what we do. Thank you for joining us, whether you're watching live or on the replay. We'll take you however we can get you. We appreciate you spending so much of your valuable time here just to even stop by to say hello. So thank you guys so much for being here. On today's live stream, actually much of an impromptu live stream. We don't typically do ones during the middle of the day. The news kind of warrants it, though, right? Bo Nix has transferred, has announced that he's into the transfer portal. I guess you need to actually wait and see if he officially is signed with someone else, but is moving into the transfer portal. So effectively, he is transferring from Auburn. There's been a long and tumultuous saga with this. A lot has transpired. A lot of it is information-based. A lot of it's speculation-based. So that's kind of what I want to do here on this live stream is I want to just kind of initially discuss, react, kind of take it in for a second about what's been going on, but also address a little bit of a hand that we had in the breaking of certain news stories related to Bo Nix, and I'm sure a lot of you know that we're talking about on that one. So we will address that here as well tonight. I want you to do a couple favors for me before we get started on everything today, actually. If you'll smash that like button if you like this type of content, it does help the stream out, shares it out with other Auburn fans, invites them in to be part of our little family within the Auburn family. Also, right now in the comments section, even if it's on the replay, post where you're watching from, City, State, International, with a War Eagle. Love to know who's hanging out with us and saying or just reacting to what this news actually means to us and what it actually is going to imply for Auburn going forward. A lot of things are in I'll be honest with you. Last night was not fun for many reasons. Last night was not fun because the reality of what had been potentially going to take place over the week, as it became more and more evident, got closer and closer. And it was very sad. I see a lot of people already chatting in the comments, sad faces, and I agree. Bo Nix leaving Auburn is sad. And while I am someone, Clint's apparently calling him from Madagascar. While I'm someone who had planned on or anticipating since the offseason that Bo was going to leave, it still stings. It still hurts a little bit. And not from the simple fact that, he was a pretty good player who did a lot of great things for us, but from all intents and purposes, from every account that I've heard, he's a great guy as well. And it's taken a lot of criticism in a much better way than I even could have personally. So he's a much better man than I would ever plan to be. So I'm going to miss him. I'm sad that his story doesn't end the way that I thought it could have. That's initially what I do want to say about that. And I think a lot of you are already sharing some similar sentiments here in the chat. And we'll bring up some comments and stuff right here. But I do want to take the opportunity real quick to address something, because there's fun things here about all this stuff. And it has to do with sources. And someone's already said it right there. It's the fun word that everybody likes to use and make fun of. I like to make fun of it too. But there's really no other way out there to describe where you get your information from without just calling them people and things like that. So like I said, we're going to react to this, but I do want to address our report that was initially about Bo coming back, and it said officially on it. So I actually was planning on bringing this up live so you guys could see it. So there's no hiding from it or whatsoever, but the system apparently is decided today on the one day I want to do that. It's not going to cooperate. So there you go. Anyway, so there is a tweet that we put out that Bo Nix was officially coming back. This was not a tweet. It was a tweet. It was on Facebook. It was on Instagram. It was on YouTube community tab. That was the only places that I believe we posted it out there. And now, in hindsight, doesn't look good, does it? And of course, there are people that are quick to want to point that out. That was anticipated. When we made that initial report, we anticipated that this could change and that there would be some heat taken from that. And apparently there has happened, which is understandable, right? That comes with the territory of putting yourself out there and reporting on things that you feel pretty comfortable about. So the post right now, like I said, I wanted to bring it up. I can't get it to work for me properly, but I also wanted to put a new post up about sharing that he has announced he's transferred. The difference that I think a lot of people are missing in this is that while, yes, that initial post was incorrect, it wasn't at the time. The two things aren't mutually exclusive. That just because at the time we had the correct information doesn't necessarily mean that it was wrong then. Now, listen, a lot of us who put ourselves out there, and then we'll call it the media. I don't necessarily consider myself part of the media, but we'll just call it the media. We're operating off of sources, information that we're getting, and then speculating on top of that. So sometimes things appear wrong when maybe they weren't necessarily at the beginning. And that seems to be the case of what has happened here based on what I was being told and was very sure about. We put that post out and it's not true now. So I think the biggest mistake in all of this, if I'm being completely honest here, is the wording, and it says officially. Officially. It's a big word that a lot of people are harping on. That could have been omitted. In hindsight, yes, that could have been omitted. But at the time, everything appeared correct. So I do want to discuss maybe what happened, why things changed, and why things might have now transpired the way that they have. Again, nobody knows this except for Bo, his family, and honestly, the coaches. His teammates probably don't even know the exact extent of what's gone into the decision-making process. But that's where we are at this point. If you guys remember, Bo not announced. Bo was asked early on at the end of the season what his plans were for the future. Was he going to stick around for another year? And he kind of gave non-blanket, just blanket answers. Not really. Or he didn't really say anything in terms of committing to anything. He just wants to get better on his injury and then make decisions from that point. And if you follow the trajectory of what happened, we had an OC lined up. This is not me even speculating on this point. There are media entities that have confirmed this at this point, that Zach Hill of Arizona State was the choice. And so you can see the narrative starting to build where Bo, knowing what was going to happen, because obviously he's going to be in the know about that, probably feeling very comfortable with that, felt comfortable enough to almost probably, I'm just assuming, give a committal that he was going to be back based off that information. Well, things change. It's another phrase out there that apparently is not playing well. Things change, and they do, and that doesn't mean that they're not mutually exclusive. Both the posts can be right and wrong at the same time, or not. One's right, the new one's right, but they don't have to both be. One doesn't have to be wrong. Is basically what I'm trying to say. But you can see on top of that, with the OC situation kind of not necessarily falling apart, but not being ideal, creates a little bit of instability. There's rumors out there with Coach Harsin and whether or not he was considering going to Washington or Oregon. I didn't really buy a lot of the Washington stuff, but my assumption always is where there's smoke, that there's fire. Just to what degree? There's a little bit more smoke on the Oregon thing than I would have liked. That doesn't necessarily mean that he was going to do anything. I just didn't like the information that I was getting and was starting to get more and more of. That has since been alleviated, thank goodness. And we are still with Coach Harsin as of this moment. With that on top of that, with some of the reaction of, especially when we initially reported that he was coming back, just some awful things. Facebook, y'all gotta chill, man. Some of the things that y'all say on Facebook is just awful. All of that kind of compounded into a bigger issue where you can see the narrative building where Bo may have changed his mind finally, officially, for us all to know here. But the official tweet, the official thing that we made, again, I wish I could bring it up right here. Thing's not working, so you guys could see it, but you can go find it. It says officially on it. That word especially was incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. However, the information and us saying that he was planning to come back, that was not incorrect as far as I'm convinced at the time. But that's kind of where we sit. I'd be happy to answer any other questions that you guys have on that notion, but I don't want this to be a complete live stream about specifically what we posted about it. But I don't want to shy away from that, and I don't want to hide from that because we put it out there. I left it out there for everybody to see. No hiding it. It's out there. All right. So let me get to some of your comments and questions. I do want to go ahead and say this at the beginning too. Typically we do a Monday night live stream at 8 p.m. Our schedule has been that we normally were going to do basketball. I don't think that's going to be fresh on anybody's mind at this point. We might discuss some of that tonight at 8, but we'll probably do a little bit more of this with, the supposed news about Tank and all that kind of stuff too. So just, just keep that in mind that tonight you can probably expect a little bit more football discussion as opposed to the basketball discussion. All right, let's see what people are saying here in the chat right now. We got a lot of gonna miss him. It's very sad on Facebook. I agree. Um, Thomas says source. There's the buzzword everybody loves. Says Bo decided to leave after meeting with Harsin about the offense moving forward. Yeah, so like I said, I think you can clearly see a narrative being built there, and it's not a far assumption to jump to, where a unofficial decision was made. Again, we felt comfortable enough what we were being told at the time to make it say it was official because we felt like it was coming out along with everybody else in the Zach Hill information. But the whole things that's transpired here, things that were making him feel uncomfortable, I can understand why he would want to make a change. And it's still sad. It's still sad. Let's see here. Does Sting, thank you for being here, Rita, one of our channel members. I appreciate that so much. Yeah, I like to support our former Tigers wherever they go. I'm not going to root for them like I would for Auburn, obviously. I don't root really for Gus Malzahn, but if I'm not doing anything, I'll turn the TV on and see how old Gus is doing. But they're not Auburn anymore, right? I mean, they are in the sense they'll always be part of the Auburn family, but they're not my interest anymore. And that'll be the same for Bo Nix, apparently. Archie, we've addressed that as well. That there's the reports that Tank is going, and I'm hearing the exact same thing. Again, I think what some people would like for us to have done is to wait for Bo to officially say that. But such is how things happen sometimes. That's why I'm trying to catch up here. Yes. Hey guys, good to see y'all. Another YouTube channel out there. Fans can be so toxic. Well, it's not just fans. A lot of people can be toxic. There's a spirit that comes with social media sometimes that brings out the worst in people. And I say that for myself as well. It's very easy to post things when you're not standing in front of someone saying something, right? Because there's no repercussions for it. But when you get face to face with someone or actually get a chance to talk to them person to person, the reality kind of sets in that maybe I don't need to say some of the things I'm saying. Maybe I don't need to express things a certain way. Social media is got some great things, but it's also got some very bad things, and it brings out the worst in everybody, and I'm included in that. I just realized the irony of the shirt I'm wearing today. Tough. It's a pretty tough day, isn't it? Listen, Rita, I think we will be fine as well. And the question is, what do you define as fine? I don't necessarily think things are trending in a very positive direction for Auburn right now. But is that going to make me a sourpuss about it? No. I'm just going to keep supporting my orange and blue the way I always wanted to. Bubba, I reported the same thing. Seems like after the Zach Hill situation happened, it knocked us back to ground zero. Absolutely. I completely agree with that. The linchpin in all of this was the Zach Hill situation. I want to tell you how close, and when I was being told that this is happening, I try to be well prepared and have thumbnails posted or ready to go for live streams like this. I just looked at it, my thumbnail ready for the Zach Hill announcement, just because that's how sure everybody was about it. It's crazy. And it's crazy to think how things can change, and they can, and that's okay. And sometimes when you put yourself out there and you say things that you are 99.9% sure are true, it can change on a dime. Jerry, I get this point about the inconsistency of Bo. I think it's a much broader conversation than we're going to have time to really cover here. I don't necessarily, it's not that I don't agree with that statement. It's just that, I don't know, that I'd have to think that one through before getting back. Let me get back to you on that one. Let's see here. Met with Harsin, didn't like the outcome. Yeah, well, listen, so that's what's being said right now, is that Tank potentially had kind of a similar meeting with Harsin, and you're going to expect that, right? Things may not be trending in the way that they had anticipated. I actually saw a post online that I wish, again, I wanted to bring the two tweets up. The one that was supposedly incorrect, People are very adamant that was us just jumping the gun and not doing due diligence, but that's incorrect. And the one now confirming what Bo has confirmed. But at the same time, this other post addressed it nicely in kind of talking about how there's a culture change, and neither culture is incorrect. And I think that's what's missed a lot in disagreements and stuff on social media, whether it's about Bo or about other things, is it's not necessarily that anyone's really right or wrong. It's just that you see it from two different points. And I know it's a little frustrating because I'm a very black and white person. And I love to kind of have just the answer, right? And a lot of times there is a black and white answer, but a lot of times there's not. And you kind of have to be able to see it from both points of view here. I do think there is a culture shift happening, and I don't think that either of the cultures are necessarily wrong. But that's what a transition is. Oh, Bama. I guess this is a Bama fan, I'm assuming. Will he still be? That's funny. I guess that depends if there's a Milo's wherever he goes. I think they're they're not spread out a lot, but I think I've seen them all over the Southeast. So you never know, right? Yes, Devin. This is the hardest part about this situation. It really is. This kid and their family love Auburn with all their hearts. And it's sad to see that this is how it ends. Because I believe, based off the improvements that Bo made this year and hopefully was going to continue to make in his next year, that we were going to see a very reminiscent, story of Jason Campbell. And people forget how time changes, and people forget that Jason Campbell was just ridiculed, mocked, belittled. Things that you're seeing on social media. If we had it the way we did back then, wow. And what a wonderful story he had. And that's not to say that Bo's not going to have a wonderful story, right? Even if it's outside of football. I think Bo is a good enough person and a well-rounded guy enough that he is going to succeed in whatever he does. And it's just, that who's hurting today. The fans, those that are supportive of Bo and those that are supportive of Auburn and everything are hurting today. But that the people that are hurting the most are Bo and his family, because this is not what they would have wanted. And I think that's a great thing to bring up. Will we see you at the Birmingham Bowl, though? Maybe. I'm thinking about it. Chris, I think this is a fair statement. I wish Bo well for the future. Having said that, I'm excited about Harson's vision for the future. And this is kind of what we were saying earlier, right? Culture change. I wish I had that. I wish the system was working so I could bring like the tweet up and stuff like that, because it was such a well-rounded, well-thought-out post, because it was supportive of Bo, supportive of Harson, supportive of the transition, and it was just well-rounded. And I agree. I think your statement here is in the same vein, right? It's in the statement that we can be sad but hopeful for what's taking place at Auburn. Now, time will tell if that's going to be the right move or not, right? I'm willing to give them the time. Doesn't mean there's not some frustrations along the way, right? Jack says he doesn't believe the tank rumors. There's enough smoke out there. I'm pretty sure that's correct. It's probably not the best time for me to be stepping out on a limb and officially confirming anything. That seems to be a trigger word these days. But yeah. Clint says that Tank's mom says on Instagram that the rumors were lies. So take that for what it's worth. There you go. Thank you, Clint, for clarification. So you never get. So see, initial reports can change, or we're wrong. They could have been wrong. It's funny, isn't it? Hey, Kevin, good to see you. I agree. I wish he would have stayed too, but buddy, I don't think it's not gonna happen unless he's in the portal. Things can change, but I doubt that they will at this point. There's only 20 Milo's locations, all in Alabama. Bo to UAB confirmed. That is hard-hitting facts right there, my friend. That is good stuff. Oh, Bama. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw that. It's just you don't really see Bama associated with an Auburn grad. But are you a Bama fan? Just an Auburn grad? That happens. But hey, you are. If that's the case, you're still technically a member of the Auburn family. So glad you're a graduate. Let's see here. Jack says, for what it's worth, Saban went 6-6. It's first year installing a similar culture. So Harsin, once he gets the guys, he'll be fine. Yeah. This has been purported or suggested a lot, and I kind of agree with it. But I also want to caution fans that if you're expecting the turnaround to happen this year, you need to really settle down. Will it? Maybe. It's happened before. Will it happen this time? Let's wait and see. Yeah, I'm glad Jason Campbell's back, but I missed the good old days with him. Okay, like this is all right, Dusty. Good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. I was hoping we'd see you. Kyle. I've supported Bo, but I don't understand why everyone is acting like this is doomsday. Kids these days just built this way. Look forward to talking to you tonight. Hey, so I think that's a great point to bring up. And I think for the most part here, you'll notice that I try to be somewhat optimistic. Just because I'm realistic doesn't mean I'm not optimistic. I think that it is important to realize that if one player makes or breaks your program, then your program wasn't really in a good state as it is. Now, this is the quarterback. It's a pretty big deal, right? So I agree with him that, it is not doomsday. Is it super disappointing though? Absolutely. Is it something that will hurt Auburn? Absolutely it will. Will it be the best decision for Bo? Maybe. I hope it is, because I think he's done his time and I think he deserves a chance to go off into the sunset. And I don't know that there was a better outcome, considering the way people behave sometimes online. Yeah, Devin, there's been conflicting reports about TJ, whether he's going to be back or not. Not really ready to say yes or no at this point. Well, unfortunately, Unbeaten Lake, the toxic fans and just we'll call it not just fans, but toxic voices. They're the ones that get the clicks and the retweets and all that kind of stuff like that. It's unfortunate. It is the reality is that I think it's a little bit crass here, but sex and death sell on TV and stuff like that. It's just the reality. You don't really click into that. You click into the bad stuff, and that's partially our fault, right? It really is. Their job is to get us to click. Technically, my job is to get you to click too. Never been upfront about that, but here we are. But yeah, just in nature of the whole toxic nature of everybody in media, in social media, whether that you're someone reporting it or whether you're talking about it or you're someone just reacting to it as a fan or an observer. It's very frustrating sometimes to just see the toxicity about it all. Because it's the thing, it's the people think they have a wall of protection. They can say what they want. And you see some of the comments that we're not addressing here right now because some of them are just rude about Bo and stuff like that. There's a lot of anger there that they don't know of another way to get out, and it's not productive. Austin Austin Osbury announcing on CBS. Well, maybe so. We've had breaking news happen here on the show before, so maybe so. Maybe we'll have that happen here. All right. Kind of not that we're getting off track here, but this is mainly about Bo and the narrative of what happened with him, what potentially happened, why we initially reported that he was officially, and that again, if I didn't say it clear enough at the beginning, again, that is probably the poorest choice of words that I could have had in hindsight at the time. We do a lot of vetting out of information that we get before we do anything with it. Because of the very thing, the nature that we've been discussing here, of people reacting without coming and asking beforehand. So I would hope that, you guys would trust that we've done our due diligence before putting something out there like that. It's wrong now. Doesn't mean it was wrong then. And both are not mutually exclusive. But the fact that Bo has decided to leave, I truly think and believe, based off the information I've received, and now just kind of doing some further piecing together speculation, if you will, that the unfortunate situation of not being able to secure Zach Hill, the taking longer for an offensive solution, an offensive coordinator situation, fan response, all of that and then the volatility of the program right now. It's making it a very unfavorable situation for Bo when you add in the injury stuff as well. Will he be protected next year? I don't know. So I can understand from his point of view why he would decide to, first of all, officially from his mouth, leave, but may have changed his mind as well. And I fully believe that. Oh, look at that. Breaking news. We got him. There you go. Stole a 4-star defensive back. So listen, everybody, the sky is not falling. It's going to be okay. I don't know how to smile. You're funny, Bama. You're funny. All right. So here's what I'd like to do. I'm not going to go away just right now. But it is kind of a random midday stream that we're doing. We are going to go live tonight with information about, or not information, excuse me. We're going to go live tonight and discuss this probably a little bit further with you all. It might be a little bit of an open-ended live stream where we get into some basketball too, but I know that's what is prevalent with Tank and with Bo right now. So we'll be back again 8 p.m. tonight, same place. Be here if you can. Love to hear your thoughts and perspectives. If we're feeling up to it, we might open the phone lines up to everybody. Usually on Monday nights, it's just for our Booster Club members, but we'll see. See if everybody can behave themselves or not. But I really do want to know y'all's perspectives on this a little bit later tonight, because now this is just really reactions, gut things right now. Wade says, I'm not happy about Bo leaving. I do like Harson's vision. I'm going to buckle up my seatbelts and enjoy the Auburn experience. The whole of the Auburn experience, right? Yeah. Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate you always being very supportive. Hey, there's Stan. Good to see you, Stan. Thanks for being here. So anyway, in conclusion, as we've said about all this, and you can get some last minute comments in if you'd like to. Actually, let me do this first. Sorry. Unscheduled stream here. Things are a little bit out of order. If you can, check out some of the links in the description. There's ways you can help support our content here. We're mainly fan supported. You can do that by becoming a Booster Club member or a channel member here on YouTube. One's on Patreon, one's on YouTube. They both start at $1 a month. The Patreon option, the Booster Club, has a little bit more perk system that if you'd like to do that. So check that out, please, if you can. We appreciate your support, even if it's just hitting the like button and even if it's just being here. We really appreciate you being a little small part of our family within the Auburn family. It means a lot to us. And then check out some of the other stuff that we'll be posting the rest of the day, and hope you can join us tonight as well. That being said, in conclusion of all this, Bo is officially in the transfer portal. As of this moment, I have been on here, so things could have changed. He may be officially transferred to somewhere, but when someone goes to the portal, it usually doesn't bode well for the future. So it's sad to see Bo go. Sad to see some of the reaction, but I'm also encouraged by some of the true fans out there that have expressed their support for all things Auburn, and not just when things are good and not when they just like a particular player. It's been encouraging and frustrating to see at the same time. It's also encouraging to see Bo making probably what's a wise decision for him, maybe, but what's also probably the best in the overall situation at this point. I think it will hurt Auburn losing Bo, but I also don't think it's not in Bo's best interest. The more as you think about it more as time goes on, I will miss him. I wish him luck, as most of us do, and I will be the biggest Bo Nix fan, as I am all Auburn players and coaches when they leave us, as long as it's not against Auburn. Now, if they went to Alabama, we might have to have a little bit of a come to Jesus meeting, but we can discuss and cross that bridge when we come to it. Sad to see it. Again, if you had problems with our initial report about making it official that he was coming back, I hope that you'll watch the full video in entirety to see the explanation for why we feel that we were correct at the time, and things have changed, and that is okay. They are not mutually exclusive. So I hope you enjoyed this stream. Let's see. You feel sorry for Bo now? Yeah, it does. But yeah. So anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. We'll be back tonight. We'll probably address more things at 8 p.m. about Bo, talk about what's going on with this tank situation, OC stuff, and maybe, just maybe, we can get into some basketball stuff because that's exciting, right? War Eagle. Talk to you guys very soon.